This video isn't just a one-off tip. It's the first part in a multi-lesson series, a full-blown masterclass on how to actually grow on social media and accelerate your digital marketing with the strategy that works for you. There's no fluff, there's no theories, just strategy that works. In this series, I'm breaking down the exact strategies that I've used to make successful channels, drive sales, and craft content that just cuts through the noise. No gatekeeping, no upsell, just the real stuff right here, given away for free. Today's focus is thumbnails, one of the most underestimated but most impactful tools in your arsenal. If you get this wrong, nobody clicks, right? But when you get it right, it resonates with people in a way that sticks in their brain. It's a game changer. But luckily, thumbnails are one of those things that once you've made enough of them, you start to notice what works and you start to understand why it works. It gets really easy after that. Let's just get straight to the point. Most YouTubers follow what's called the rule of three. Never more than 3 elements on the screen. No more clutter, no confusion. So stick to this and your thumbnails start working for you and not against you. By the way, I'm Ethan. I've done millions of views with the content that I've made across various channels, and this video production thing I do is all I do all day long. So I used to do this, and I think to a degree I still might, but a lot of creators just go overboard. There's too much text, there's too many pictures, there's just a lot of stuff going on in that thumbnail, right? It doesn't look great. Sometimes they'll jam like 5, 6, or maybe even 7 things in the thumbnail all at once, and the result is the title says one thing, but the thumbnail just screams something else. And a lot of the times when I see those thumbnails that are super just jam-packed like that, it just makes me just scroll right past because I don't want to see whatever that has to offer. Now, don't get me wrong, there are still thumbnails out there that perform well with a lot of elements. It's just not as common as those with a maximum of 3. That confusion, it kills clicks, just dead in the water. So here's the magic of 3 elements. You take one image, like maybe it's you or a product, one short text phrase, and one accent, like a graphics of some sort, or maybe an emoji. And now I'm going to break down for you why this works. It's cognitive simplicity. It gives the potential viewer faster processing and gives them a clearer idea of what they're about to click into. One of the other things that makes this work is visual hierarchy. It's easy to scan over small screens. You have to remember that nowadays, most people, not all, but most people are on their phones or on their tablet screens. So remember to curate your thumbnails for that. Speaking of this tip, one little pointer I have for you that I want you to keep in mind when you're designing your thumbnails, don't put anything important in your thumbnail down there on the bottom right, because do you know what goes down there on the bottom right? It's your timestamp. When you're scrolling through YouTube, it's on the bottom right of the thumbnail that it shows exactly how long the video is. So if you have something important there or something that you want people to see and want to click on, don't put it down there just because it's going to get covered up by the numbers. And sometimes you can't do anything about it. It's just how the graphic comes together, but try to avoid it if you can. Now, it is worth noting that video performance repeatedly shows that videos that have thumbnails with no more than 3 major elements repeatedly get 24 to 40% more CTR across all niches on YouTube. It's basically a insurance thing to fall back on, knowing that if something goes wrong, it's not the thumbnail. The thumbnail's fine. Think of it like a billboard, right? Everybody's scrolling by, everybody's just rolling on through. They're only going to notice the important things, and those important things should be the things that make them want to click, make them want to find out more. But it doesn't stop there. Color and contrast are so incredibly important in your YouTube thumbnails, and if you're not using color and contrast, you should be. Check this out. You always want to use complementary colors in your thumbnails to make your thumbnails pop. For example, some complementary colors are orange and teal, or blue if you prefer to use just straight up blue, purple and yellow. The list goes on. One of the reasons you want to do this is that high contrast colors make legibility between background and text. These colors pop out to our eyes and make us notice them, even if it's subconscious, even if it's not something that you're noticing you're doing. And when you can stop someone's scroll, you're that much more likely to get them to click on your video. So you want to make them stop, notice whatever it is that you're presenting, and make them want to click. I have this tool I want to show you that can help you instantly find complementary colors for whatever your color palette is. Let me show you this. Canva has this really sick tool, and I'll leave it linked in the description, but this tool is basically just an automatic complementary color finder. So if you have your hex code, let's say it's this blue color, well, here's the complementary color right away. It just shows you the exact opposite. And in this case, it's B3661F. Or you can just drag around the wheel right here and it'll show you exactly what your complementary color is. This is an insanely useful tool to have. It's awesome. Now, another thing is, if you don't know anything about me, I am not at all a fan of the Adobe suite of software or just the Adobe company themselves. I use alternative software called Affinity. I use Affinity Photo, and now I'm going to show you a method in Affinity Photo to find complementary colors in a snap. Okay, so this works across Affinity Designer, Photo, and Publisher. Let's say you have just, we're going to take red right here. Let's say you have this red square. You want to make a color palette, right? So I'm going to press this button right here, add document palette, just because I want this palette to only stay within this document here. I'm going to call it just 1, just for test. Okay, and now if I press this button, That red color that is currently selected gets added to my current palette. So what's really cool is now I can right click on this color, add chord to swatch, complementary. And now it adds that same color again with its complementary color as well. So now this color's complementary color is this bluish color. You can see these are the complementary colors right here. And if I was making a thumbnail with these colors, it would pop out to a viewer and potentially stop their scroll, and I will be more likely to have earned their view. This is definitely something to keep in mind. You should really try to implement this into your thumbnail design. Another thing to think about is that skin tones with bright backgrounds make instant connection. So remember that color matters, but do you know what matters even more? It's emotion. People are just, from a very basic level of psychology, hardwired to connect with faces. So when there's a face in a thumbnail, it's just something that stands out to them more. It's funny just because a single expressive headshot can like skyrocket how interesting a thumbnail becomes in the eyes of the potential viewer. You want to use expressions that match the tone of your video, like amazing, shocked, disappointed, or sad maybe, but don't overdo it. All I did to get my thumbnail face expressions was I set up a camera and had my wife take pictures of me at the table, and I had a list of these expressions that I wanted to get down and go over so that she could just snap and take a bunch of pictures. But I should probably do it again just because I've got a haircut since then. So for example, an exaggerated look might be something like I'm exhausted, I'm tired, I can't believe what I'm about to tell you. Or a more natural expression might be something like, oh, that's pretty cool. So, all right, you've got 3 elements now, right? You got bold colors and expressive face, but are those elements working together? Cohesion and alignment across all of these elements in your thumbnail is also extremely important. For example, you want any eyes and faces in your thumbnail to align facing towards the text. You want their faces and their eyes to be looking at the thing that you want the viewer's eyes to be looking at. You also don't want to like over clutter or make one thing way too big in your thumbnail just because you want to leave some negative space so that visually the viewer's eyes can breathe a little bit. And also, if you're working with a brand, using light brand and color consistency can work to help build some credibility and trust over time. So now it's time for the real test. Can your thumbnail tell a story in just a glance? Can you look at your thumbnail and have an idea of what you're about to click into, what you're going to gain from it, and that you'll actually like this video? There's a lot that goes into thumbnails that people just don't usually think about. So I have a drill that I want you to run through every time you're making a thumbnail so that you know whether or not what you have is something that you want to keep working with. The first thing you're going to do is do a before versus after walkthrough. Take a raw frame, make a layout sketch, and then transition that to a polished thumbnail. You want to start in stages and ask yourself, what's the one message that I want potential viewers to get at just a glance? What's one thing that I want them to take away from this? And a visual call to action or CTA is valuable. An inviting expression or an intriguing face creates curiosity in the mind of the potential viewer. And here's the kicker, is that the thumbnail doesn't just live in a vacuum just because once the video gets posted to YouTube, it stays there. And if the thumbnail's good, that thumbnail will continue to bring people in and earn that video views over time. So this is just the beginning. A great thumbnail brings them in, but it's consistency that keeps your channel alive. In the next episode, I'm going to show you why posting regularly helps you more than anything else. So just to recap, in this episode, we touched on thumbnails and the rule of 3, complementary colors, faces and expressions, cohesion, and story-driven design. So go ahead for your next video, or maybe even an older video, try designing a thumbnail with what you learned today. Test it, measure it, see how it holds up. If you got value out of this, drop a like, drop a comment, hit the subscribe button and the bell. And remember that this is just video 1. We've got a whole masterclass ahead. And if you have any other questions and want more human, more one-to-one personal coaching and tutoring through DaVinci Resolve, you can check that out on my website. It's linked on the front page. You can't go wrong with having an actual human tutor helping you walk you through the process. I appreciate you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next episode.